as we get into a very volatile start to the week. It's unfortunate to see one thing that's happened with what the market makers decided to do, the trading algorithm. They've got options, which part of the algorithm they want to ride. They took the path of most liquidity, which is kind of unfortunate for retail. You had a hyperbolic movement here this morning where we seen the price all of a sudden jump from 217 to 228 for XRP, and likewise across the board. But what it's starting to set up here, it's the moment they've taken the path on this algorithm, in my opinion, of most liquidity taken. So it feels like to me it was strategically set. In my title, it was supposed to say unfilled at 92.48K. Um, but I guess it could have said, if it would have just said hit and not at, because we hit 92.8K, it would still make sense. But the title, the way the wording is wrong. It's supposed to be 92.48K for that fair value gap. Yeah, we came within about $500 or so, but that's not actually filling it. And I think we're taking the path to liquidate the most amount of people here on this Monday morning. Get some hopium out in the air this morning. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we make a new low and break that 92.5. But it seems if we don't break out here just in the immediate short term, to me it feels like a bear flag setup. And that move up is nothing more. Hopefully I'm wrong, for the ones that are in this market, especially the ones who bought in just now, and you don't have to ride a little wave down. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if some volume can find its way into this market this morning. It's that's something we just don't know. But right now, to me, it feels like they took the path to liquidate the most amount of people, unfortunately. As far as, the spot traders are one thing, but they hunt leverage. Like I always talk about, don't trade leverage, because at these moments especially, because it doesn't matter even if you know the market, the volatility this morning is already liquidating a lot of people. From November 10th to the 14th, US spot Bitcoin ETF saw 1.11 billion in outflows, with BlackRock's IBIT losing 532.41 million and Grayscale Bitcoin Mini Trust losing nearly 290 million to outflows. So that's interesting. So we see Bitcoin, and I've talked about the same area. I feel like that needs to fill, but even worse than that, what it's set up right now would bring us down to like 88K ish. It's set up something a little bit more. But the overwhelming thing to me right now too is the fact that that is a rising wedge we broke down out of. And if we lose 92,400, that 92.4, it's going to be a big problem. This will be a big problem because then we can start rotating down. And then I'm assuming we get rejected. Like, here's the worst case scenario. If we want to come back down, if they want to come back down and then retest the breakdown, the worst case scenario would be to break down past the FEG that we don't know if it's bullish or bearish right now. Like if it holds, it could be a bullish tap. But if they come below it and then use it as resistance, then that's where you can get into trouble. But we're massively oversold where you are in the daily in Bitcoin. Weekly time frames oversold in a big way. The 4-hourly, and if you were in the live yesterday, I said it'll do us a huge disservice if we go up today, because then we're going to build that base to bring us down just a tad bit lower than we are already. And hopefully that doesn't break the bank. But once we get to a certain level, you get a little nervous because Michael Saylor and all these institutions that have all these over-leveraged Bitcoin, that's where it can start to get into a domino effect. So we'll see how it plays out this morning. At least we're here live on this Monday morning. I should do the intro just so we can do this off the start, so anybody watching or watching after will know timestamp. So good morning, 10:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, November 17th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So it was a cold morning this morning. 31 when we dropped T off at school. He was so happy to be back at school. Last week when he was sick, he did not want to not be in school. He'd grab his braces and his shoes so that he could go, but he couldn't go at the end of the week, as you know. So he was very happy to be going to school this morning. He's a kid who loves school, like loves it. Let's see, market cap should be up here. All right, anyhow. So now let's get into XRP. XRP, and I mean it's if you were a part of the live yesterday, we talked about the scenario that could, get retail in a little bit of trouble. And it's not just for like XRP. It's just if somebody's trying to do a swing trade or unfortunately, too many people do leverage, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I can foul cry all I want, but, that's just easy. There's always the allure of easy money. Why trade at 1x when I can trade at 10x? Why trade at 10 when I can trade at 30? Why trade at 30 when I can? So the most important thing right now, though, is to realize what kind of pattern we're in. We're either in a megaphone here, and you can't say if it's bearish or bullish megaphone. It's impossible. Like you can say, I could argue both ways, because it was such a big wick pullback up that this is actually a bullish megaphone if it plays out. But that puts us even at the short term at $1.98. And I'm not gonna dismiss what this is showing me because it's been showing us this and it's been right ever since this pattern started formulating. Now, we've still got to watch within the shorters, the shorter time frame. And wait a minute, that puts us in the same area, right? I mean, when you start getting confluency on a chart, you start to like to see what you're seeing. So like it's pointing at $1.97 for a reason, in my opinion. Volume is fine here. What do you mean? What volume? I don't see any volume. Who said that? Hi, Tom. Oh. My volume is rather low. I thought you guys were talking about on my, the volume on, audio. I'm sorry, Anna. I apologize. I was reading it. I'm like, I'm like, I was trying to figure it out. And then you said you couldn't hear me. And I'm like, am I just talking to myself? But I guess there wouldn't be 117 people if nobody could hear me. They'd all leave. Okay, good, Anna. You fixed it. Good. And good morning to you. I'm glad to see you in here. I was sad because Anna T's friend wasn't there this morning, so I don't know if she's sick or what, but I was looking forward to seeing her and T getting to see her, but she wasn't there this morning. But his friend Dorothy was, so at least he got to see her. Let's see. But anyhow, let me finish this real quick. So we talk about buy support, sell resistance when you're in these moments. And it's not like we're not in the bear market lows, but we've been in a bear market for crypto essentially since January. Yes, we had the moments of volatility where we went up, but we've been bearish in crypto since January. And it's been no secret in this community. But now we're getting to a point where we're not so bearish anymore. I understand how it looks, but I'm going to show you something else too. This is one thing that bothered me when I seen the crypto fear and greed index. This showed people were too greedy yesterday. It went from 10 to 14. But the way the market moved, it should have went down. That means people were buying when they shouldn't have been, in my opinion. The fact that it went up from 10 to 14, it doesn't seem like a lot. It might not even register to most. But that meant people are greedy buying right now when they shouldn't be. Remember yesterday, I kept saying, let it play out. We just need to let it play out. Just let it play. If you were here yesterday. If you weren't, well, you could be if you go back and watch the video from yesterday, but there's really no point because you're here in the present now. You could go back and watch just to see how things develop, but the fact that I seen the fear go up from extreme fear to 10 to extreme fear 14, that was disappointing to me. To me, that was disappointing because it tells me the market is still I don't know, that for whatever reason I was disappointed. I'm not normally disappointed when people are buying in extreme fear. It was just because of where we're at. And I don't know if they're going to bring this right down right away. I don't know. Are we going to get a big buying spurt in here? Maybe. I don't know what they're going to really do. But I still am aiming at that $1.97, $1.98 until they make a decision here one way or the other. Unless we break out to the top side, then we can look at it that way. But we're leaning more to that pull down than the breakout at this point in time. Just because Bitcoin, we have not been able to clear Bitcoin. So Bitcoin we follow until we don't. It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's the way it goes. I get asked the question a lot, is Bitcoin or is XRP separated? No, it's not. Is it? No, it's not. I wish it was. I wish I could come in and say the utility tokens, the ISO, the IOT, the RWA, all of them. I wish I could say, hey, they don't need Bitcoin. They do. As long as the dominance is as high as it is, they're following Bitcoin, unfortunately. And right now, Bitcoin's having an interesting morning is the best I can say. Today, instead of dumping when the USA woke up, they did do that, but then they got the USA excited, which scares me even more. Right at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, people were waking up saying, ooh, look, the market's going down. And then right when they were taking their shower, getting themselves ready to go to work, sitting in traffic, taking a break at the office, I don't know, depending on what time you get to work, they started to see the market fly up for a minute. Bitcoin all of a sudden goes up $2,000 in a matter of minutes. All the altcoins are up 3 to 5% from where they were at in a matter of minutes. And then all of a sudden it gets your juices flowing. So you're drinking your coffee, you make the purchase, you sit down, and then all of a sudden you go to take the sip of the coffee and you're like, well, what the hell? Wasn't Bitcoin up? What's going on? You become the liquidity of the morning if this continues. Got cross in there, blah, 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 rejected multiple times, rejected, right? So it's one of those things. I got my nerves shaking right now because there's so much stuff that is like I can feel in the air. Like I feel something ain't right. Like I said yesterday, I feel the wrong, especially in the chart right now. It makes you wonder why they pull it up like that just to pull it down. And it doesn't even look like a lot on the chart. But for human emotion, coming down to 92 or 90, what was it? 92.9 up to 95.9. I mean, that's a $3,000 move. What was that? 4, 8, 12, about 12 to 15 hours. And then the best part is it eliminates almost that entire move in a matter of minutes. And that's the scary part of all of this. And if it breaks down and makes a new low now, like if XRP breaks below 215 and some change, you're going to $1.99-ish. Which I think we need to go there anyhow, and I don't think we should be afraid. I really don't think we should be afraid by it. Can we say bear market, or are we still, hopefully? Oh, we've been in a bear market, Tanya, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over three years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. I really appreciate that, love. And if your daughter's watching, hello. So proud to have you both here. But Tanya, yeah, I think we've been in a bear market, unfortunately. But this is the tricky part. There's ultra volatility today. Like they literally, it's like sometimes I come on and I'm like, God, I have to talk like this and I hate it. Because it's a lot easier when I come on and I'm like, guys, we're about to go up 17%. Or whatever. I've got the opposite feeling right now. Like I'm sitting here going, uh-oh. And then this morning, when it did what it did, I'm working out. I'm lifting my weights in the backyard where I built that little thing. And I see it, and the market's literally probably where it's at right now. I do a set, and all of a sudden, Bitcoin's at almost 96, and I literally go, uh-oh. Not because I was like, I'm missing out on the entire market. It was quite the opposite. I'm like, here's that liquidity for the shorts. This sucks. So now everybody who went short, they just knocked them off in about 3 minutes. And then I got about 10 minutes later, all of a sudden I'm doing I recorded a video, the text, because I like to do the text now for the ones who I didn't realize we had so many people in our audience that were, have a hard time hearing. So now every day I try to put out a text version and then I share it on YouTube. Not every day, but I try to. That's something I'm trying to get better at. If you're wondering why I do that. So, but while I'm doing that, then everything changed again. And now it's like we're on. When I first came on, I think Bitcoin got up to like 95,000 roughly. It had a little bit of a push for a minute. And then all of a sudden, it's just, and now in the five, it's just the temptress right now. So, like, you got to be very careful. This is not a trader's market. But if you're trying to find positioning, maybe it won't get rejected and maybe it'll come up and make these new highs. The one thing I don't want to see is it come all the way back up here before it clears out that FVG. Like, I just at least will it to come down to that FVG first, because then we can use the FVG as support, come back up to that right. If we get to that FVG and we hold it as support, that's a great trading opportunity across the board. If it were to happen. Right now, we're stuck. Oh, we're stuck. And this is not a friendly looking candle, but you can change it in this one. There's no doubt about that. It's just in our best interest to finish this off. But will the market let us do it? That's the rough part. Will the market let us finish the job? I don't know. I didn't even realize it came back up here and hit that resistance again. Wow, that was crazy. That actually hit 230 this morning. So look, it revalidated that resistance if it gets the rejection. Or well, the 3-hour kind of broke bearish in the stochastic, but it could push back up. If it gets up over here, see, we can look at the bullish avenue. If it gets over 230 and holds, that'll open up the door to, what is that? A return push back to here, maybe? That could be the kind of, Incredible Volk, welcome in, and thanks for being in town. 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Craig Carlson. You are not wearing a hat, sir. What does that mean? Well, the audience has a thing. If I'm wearing a hat, they assume we're bullish, and if I'm not wearing a hat, we're bearish. I didn't think that was the correlation, but I guess I do hide myself a lot more when we're bullish. I'll hide my face so that I can hide the smiling a little bit. I guess it's become too predictable. Yeah, we don't have a good like ratio, Mrs. Stott, that's for sure. And thank you for being in town over 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. At least it's a little bit better, because you said there was 134 people and it's 51 likes. Now we have 145 people and 68 likes. Yes, thanks for pointing it out, Mrs. Stott. I hope Mr. Stott is doing good this morning as well. As Bitcoin's inching up a little bit, up about $300. It's better green than not. You know why? It makes for better entertainment. And this is entertainment after all. I'm not a financial advisor, so this is just what I think is playing out in the market. I could be completely wrong. Dan Marginal, welcome in, along with Garbanzo. Thanks for being in time zone for 3+ months with the XP Meteor and My Yard Now as well. Beautiful audience this morning. Aaron, welcome in, along with Jay Freemix. Juice, good morning. Grand Rising, everyone. Been running around since 6 a.m. trying to get my truck fixed. Ooh, good luck with that, my friend. Never fun when the vehicle has issues. Thank you for being in town zone for your first month with the emoji vids and me being abducted by aliens. Hopefully, we can make it a little easier this morning so that you don't go insane. And hopefully you're getting your problem solved as well. There goes old Bessie. Welcome in, my friend. Oh, I love it. Old Bessie. It's so funny. I used to tell the story in 2021 or 2, but I used to call I used to say old Bessie when I was in like high school and middle school. When I would talk about people that weren't present. I'd say old Bessie used to be around, and all of a sudden here's old Bessie. It was so funny back in, it was either 21 or 2. I remember we had this discussion. It was great. But welcome back. There goes old Bessie. I love it. Good morning, my friend. Oh, if you weren't here, you don't know, but if the for the ones who were here, they know. It was so funny when it was happening in real time. Areli, good morning, love. Thank you for being here as always. I love seeing you in here. Gift a sub for Areli since it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to, even though we've tried a billion times. JH Pick, good morning. Joseph Euler, good morning, along with Crypto Cooter and Define. Thank you for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Crypto Cooter and Define, thanks for being in Tom's Army. And also very trusted mods in here and in the Telegram. Good morning to all of you. And Define says, hi, everyone. Hit that like on the way in. Consider subscribing and joining Tom's Army for the best technical analysis on YouTube. If you are not in the Telegram, what are you waiting for? Missing out? Oh, I agree. Oh, I agree. There's no better feeling than having a bunch of people in a similar room. Like if you have an issue with an exchange or you have an issue with trying to transfer stuff or anything, you know, anything. It's just, there's certain things like when it comes to like, for example, if you're leverage trading or you're doing something, there's nothing I can do to help you with it. If you have an issue, like there's nothing I can do. Like by rule, I don't usually send any messages on the Telegram through instant message, like a private message, because there's so many people that are trying to pretend to be me. So it's not in your best interest for me to be communicating like that. It's better on channel, so then you can't get scammed. Ken Saunders, Wind Moon. I guess that's the question of all questions. Oh, somebody asked me about where XDC was going. That's where I was getting. Because they said 4 something, and they were right. We got this engulfing candle. The downside looks like and I said you could take it what it was worth. I may have myself took advantage of this movement, but I talked about when it was up 6 point something percent at 5.4, that was an opportunity to get rid of it and rebuy it when it comes potentially back down here. You have to look at 2 layers, though. It could get stopped here at 5, but more than likely, if this plays out, it'll come to 4.7. So, I mean, that's what I did. I took advantage of it, and it might backfire, but I sold it at like 5.4, not for any other reason than I'm trying to get as many damn tokens of XDC as I can in a strategic moment. But I was very on moment with that for everybody. So we got a gift when it went up 6%, really for no reason. Probably just to sucker a few people in as top liquidity. And now from 5.54, it's down 7.3%. I looked at it as if I could get like 12 to 15% down. I want this to play out so bad right now. 4 hourly's got a lot of room to move down. Like, that's the thing. These have a lot of room to move down now. It gave us these false hope moves. It's exactly what we didn't want. Now everything's got to catch up to the weekly, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it feels right to me. Like, I'm not going to argue with myself. Every day I come on here and we go back and forth, but I want to see this play out. I mean, Bitcoin, I don't even know why it went up $400 just to come back down 125. It's like it's that a never-ending hopium it tries to put into the market, but what do I know? I would like to see this finish out. There's no guarantee it. Well, this could very well reverse and we could be up 10, 15% on a squeeze. You know, that's the problem with these algorithms. And like when I first started, I talked about how they took the route of most liquidity, unfortunately, with the trading algorithm, which means they're trying to knock out everybody. So anybody in leverage, they're coming after you this morning. Short, long, they don't care. Traditionally, if you're gonna take out the longs, they like to take those shorts out first for some liquidity for the downside tug. But in this case, they're just hunting. They're just hunting. They're playing on emotion right now, big time. What's the market doing? That's probably not a good sign. I remember how it ended the week last week. Come on, Dow. You can do it. You can do it. You can't do it. Apparently, it don't want us to see the Dow, does it? What the hell? Come on, Dow. It's okay. It really doesn't want us to see it. We can see how bad it looks to start the day. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, we're a little oversold in 3 hourly, which is decent. Man, it's going uber slow. 4 hourly's got plenty of room to push down still. Come on. You can do it. You're ruining the flow. Ooh, look at that. The upward jerk. We'll see if it can continue. But anyhow, US dollars at 99.51. Let's see anything else of significance. Ooh, yes, finally. Oil fell under $60 again. We're trying to look for that tug under 50. Because if we're going to have a grand push in 2026 mid-year, we should come under 50. It's in its history. This usually happens, but like I said, it's making me nervous, this little V shape here with this kind of consolidation in that channel. If this breaks up, well, then all of a sudden it's going to come up to 65 or 70. And maybe for whatever reason, it's not going to come way down there this time. But every single time we've had this happen, it traditionally will come down at least to here. I would love to see it come down to here. So we'll see what happens. As for now, we're watching the volatility in real time with crypto because it's pretty volatile. Bitcoin's slowly but surely trying to lose this 94K. Like, I mean, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Lori, welcome in. So glad to see you in here, Lori Watson. I love it. Thank you so much. John Hall, good morning, brother. Welcome in. Self-awareness, welcome. And thanks for reading Tom's Arm for your second month with the Dusty's Autos Crypto News. Let's see. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Lonzo, good morning. They definitely will create separation once we have global utility going. Oh, man, that's so true. Good morning, Lonzo. Dropping knowledge as always. Bold FC, welcome in. Says, good morning, Tom and gang. God bless y'all. God bless you, too. As our Lord and Savior has entered the chat. I love it. I love when spirituality gets talked a little bit. Let's see. Craig Carlson. Oh, Joseph Euler, thanks for being in Tom's Army, like I said, for 6+ months with the XP Predictor, and also gifting a sub. How cool is that? Cryptic Rebel gets the gifted sub. Congratulations on that, and thank you, Mr. Euler. That is so very generous. Alec Tony, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 3rd month plus with the XRP Meteor. Cedo Evil, I'm 22 and have 2,500 XRP. I'll hold until I die. You're pretty far ahead of the game to be able to be in this kind of a market at 22. When I was 22, let's see, this kind of market didn't even exist. So I'll be 42, ironically. 1 month from today. 1 month from today, I'll be 42. So the time goes fast. You're 22. Before you know it, you're going to be 42 and saying, this is either the best thing I've ever done or the worst thing I've ever done. I would tell you at 22, one thing I wish I would have done at 22 is if you make a little bit of money here, I'm not saying to sell your XRP, but if you can 10% of your income, buy some silver. Just buy some silver and put it away. 10% of your income, 5%. I wish I would have done. I wish I did it when I was at 22. I did a lot after, especially in my 30s. But if I would have done it at 22, I don't know. It might have changed my outlook anyhow. But I guess things had to happen the way they did for me to do what I do now. But I'm just saying, a small tip for me to you, anybody in the audience in your 20s, even your 30s. 20s though, buy some silver and just forget about it. You know, it's just because there's going to come a point when our government's not going to allow us to buy silver. Ask Canada how that happens, how hard it is to buy certain things. And even if you can, how big of a premium you're paying on it. Oh, that's coming. You have to be light years ahead before regulation comes in. That's why I always talk crypto. You had to be ahead. Now, with all the implementation of regulations, we're not ahead anymore. Now we're at the last stage. That's why you're seeing this happen. This was the most predictable drop to come into this zone. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about overall from January on. It was set up. Now, when everybody thinks it's over, that's why I believe it needs to drop again here. Like, the more you can do to snap the necks of retail and just the general dynamic, I really believe we need to get to 6 for the fear and greed, because the last time we got down to 6, to me, that's where market sentiment, it's just depleted completely. That's where once you get down to that level, people don't care if they're down 80%, they're selling out and they will never look back. That's what we want. Never look back, people. We don't want people to look back. We want them to feel like, hey, look, I bought in this morning. I'm up 3, 4, 5% in like an hour, which makes them happy. And then by the end of the day, they're down 15. Like that's the kind of thing at the end here, because liquidity is drying up now. People are running out of funds. So I'm super excited, not because people are running out of funds, but I'm super excited because I know having all this liquidity to the side, where I've, again, been preaching this, have more liquidity to the side. Just, you got to trust yourself and just, hey, if the market does play to the upside, you consolidate a little bit and then you go back into the ones that you really, really, really want. But I think having some capital on the sideline here is going to really pay dividends here soon again. But I don't think we're going to get a time again here. I think this is the exhaustion from a soft bottom. When we had that liquidation, the historic liquidation, let me go back here. Man, we're under 13 cents now. It's so crazy. God, see, an IOTA that inexpensive is sad. But that's the breakdown point. Once it breaks this down, I mean, you're talking about a drop down under 11 cents possibly, maybe down to 10.5. 10 cents. This was the serious point where you have to make a decision at 13.37. Now, it's tricky, but that's technically a get rid of and rebuy when it comes down, if that's your prerogative. Now, it could very easily go back up here too, so it's a dangerous game. But see all these, and I don't think it's necessarily going to come all the way down. I just think it's building something within. So we'll see. This is actually supposed to be up higher, as you can see by where this is set up. And it lines up with this. It makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know why it's at 10.5. That doesn't even make sense. Must have been looking at it on my phone. But it needs to come down there. I think that makes perfect sense. The whole market was speaking of about a 20% drop, if I'm not mistaken. 15, 20%. Let's see where this broke down from here. Now, it could invalidate this. We need it to come back above 13.15. Yeah, that's a 17% drop. So, and it's not just IOTA showing that. If we break down it, now if we don't break down and we can get back inside these patterns, then we can avoid this mess. That's the bottom line. We could avoid this. If XRP could get up, but we got a rejection today at 230, which kind of hampers the whole, let's invalidate this movement, because we came up there to get a rejection. Now we look like we're almost, it looks like a reversal candle is coming into play. That's a bearish rejection. Like coming up here, that almost gives, that's what I mean. Like this morning, they gave a little bit of hope there, but now it doesn't look so good. We need some help. Who's going to give us that helping hand here? That's what I want to know. What's Epic and all them doing? Ugh, now it's sliding even farther down below 60. We talked yesterday about how XRP Healthcare. It was nice that it was moving up, but it couldn't do it on its own, and now it's playing out in that fashion. But I mean, it could be a strategic inverse left shoulder, head right shoulder, but all of these could just be traps. You know, it could just be a trap, or it could come back down. It could come back through. The market's so volatile right now. I have a better time, or I have a funner time looking at the market when it's like this, because you can play it in your eye. You can play it in your head. John Wiseman bought silver 2 years ago, is around double the price. Oh, excellent time to buy 2 years ago, for real. Frankie Fresh, welcome in, along with Big Dog. Thank you both for being in tons under 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Frankie Fresh, I hope Janine's doing good this morning. Janine, if you're out there, hello. I hope you're having a blessed start to the week. And Frankie Fresh, I hope your hand in particular, is you're getting that flexibility back. I know things are improving slowly but surely. And every day I think about that. Every time I see your name, I think about that. Let's see. Man, we are in such a weird spot right now. We just need it to shake out one way or the other. Like, if we're going to get a volatile push here, we're going to have to do it soon, because if that V shape was meant to be something, we're kind of breaking that down into a head and shoulders now. Like what looked like maybe a possible little V shape here. I mean, look at this. That almost is turning into a head and shoulders now, like the left shoulder at the bottom. Unless it can push up. So I say we need a big push. Big push. If we get a big push, we could avoid the bullshit. Who wants to avoid the nonsense on a Monday so we can at least smile for Monday? Or do you just want it to get over with and just break down? There's no wrong answers here. I'm just asking the question. I want to see where public perception's at. Welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Arm for 6+ months with the XP Predictor, or over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Says I want algo at 12 cents and ADA at 40 cents. Then I'll buy. Not a bad pricing. Now, can we get down there? I mean, it's not out of the question. Algo, we got rejected. So coming out of this rejection, assuming that this played out in the small bear flag, I mean, who's to say we can't come back down to those areas? We sure as hell came down here, which when we had that down there before the drop, that was because it was to fill the bottom of this pattern and validate this entire thing, which it did. That's what makes me so excited. Like, with that big liquidation, what was that? What was the date again? The historic liquidation. That was the first day Bitcoin ever fell $20,000. First day, it either went up or down $20,000 in a day. As usual, it would be to the downside. So October 10th, we filled this out at 10.6, legitimately validating this entire setup that we were discussing. And it took a long time to validate, but that move down validated that entire setup, which is awesome. We can get rid of all this. I don't even know what all of that is. For all I know, my son could have been drawing on here because he goes onto my tablet a lot now. Just get some of this stuff out. No, not that. This. Just so it's easier to see when we go into a smaller scale. I mean, that was a big tap that we did there. That validated this entire thing, literally, from the start of the pattern. That was a big time hit. The apex will get us somewhere. I think we can. It's like, no, that's pretty good. The apex is March of 26, March 25th, 2026. Let's see. James says, this is all noise. XRP will be used as a settlement token. In my opinion, XRP will price people out quickly in the next couple of years, and we will eventually have the biggest market cap. It's already pricing people out. People can say it's not, but it is. And I say that because it's great if you can buy 1,000 tokens right now, but it's definitely pricing people out. Look how many people went against what I said for the whole time after January and kept buying XRP at 3, 350, 275, 250, 310, 320. And I said, just wait for this to play out, and you get that opportunity. There's been one chance, in my opinion, to buy XRP in the last 9 months or 10 months. Because they want you to keep buying the so-called dip, but it's not really a dip. All you're buying is the exit. You're the exit liquidity. It's because we get so wrapped up in the fact that the chart was so high, and then it's come down 40% from the rally up. Well, the problem is it just went up 800%. And I understand you're not buying it at $3.60 and you bought it at $3, but the bottom line is it came up from 38 cents the year before. So 38 cents, you're buying it at $3. Sure, it's not $3.50, but it's $3 That's like 10x almost. It's over 10x from where the bottom was on the last move on XRP before it reversed in the bear market. It was at 28.6 cents approximately. And I know because we bought it. It got rejected at 47 cents, but we sold at 42.5 when it proved that it was done. Then we said we're going to buy the uptrend. And then they announced quantitative easing. And this is, I'm talking the uptrend from January of 2018 until it finally, we broke that pattern consolidation in November of 24. Then they announced quantitative easing, and we knew that was a good time. Now, again, you see how that it doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Things don't repeat, but they rhyme. So again, just like in March of 23, now December of 25, they announced quantitative tightening ends December 1st. They announced simultaneously, we already know we're getting more rate cuts. I don't care that it says it's 20-something% now that we could get a rate hike. That's all by design. If you don't realize that, there's no way that this government, the Fed, can raise rates when they're printing money. It's not going to happen. You're not going into quantitative easing and raising rates. So I expect at least a quarter, but I would not be surprised if they hammer in a 50 basis point rate cut this time before the end of the year. And that'll send a shockwave. Gold's probably going to like that. Silver's probably going to like that. Now in March, we had April, we had May. Then once we got into June, what happened? So we consolidated for 2 months up and down, basically up to 33, 34, back down to 30, 29. We had what happened in June or July of that year. We had they announced that, remember, the case was over. And then it came out after that, well, it's not technically over, so it made the big hump in the middle. Remember in 23? And then we had to wait one whole year for the thing to round back around. And then finally, about 16 months later, we had the epic breakout. So, that's what we've been working on. And it's still within that. So the biggest mistake we can make is buy the dip before we're in a real dip. So we had an opportunity where maybe if you didn't hit it in the beginning, you had an opportunity, and that opportunity was down here at $1.38 on average. Some say $1.18, some say 80 cents. The reason that was an opportunity is because you had to play back up. Now the decision is, where would you sell if you bought it down there? Would you hold it forever? That I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. But this is just my perception of what goes on in the market. And it's not just crypto. I trade more than just crypto. I don't trade gold and silver. I buy the bullion, but I don't ever sell it. I've never sold a single gram of gold or silver, let alone an ounce. But I like to watch the mining stocks, which I think they're going to have and I hate to say it, but we had an opportunity for a few days where it went up. But technically, it almost looks like a perfect possible double top there. We know we're extremely, the monthly is where I'm concerned in gold, because I still think we have to validate the uptrend at either 3,700 or 3,300. So would I be surprised to see commodities just go down another 30%? Not necessarily, I wouldn't. I've seen this before. But we're so high up now compared to where it was. So, and then like XRP was down at 95 cents this morning. It's just bouncing around. These still, like I said, you got to wait for these to shake out. Unless you find an area you want. We don't have any evidence. So you really need to see the trajectory here. That weekly doesn't look strong. But again, it's all about perception, because this is when it actually started. Straight downtrend. But it's like these are acquisition companies, blank check companies that people will invest in, waiting for them to make a merger, making a deal. And that's the ones who were betting on that one actually got pretty fortunate, because they ended up investing in it not even knowing it was going to be Evernorth. Some people did because they're on the know. But I've invested in these acquisition companies. One time I did it, and it ended up being SPCE, a SPAC merger, and that thing went from like $8-9 all the way up to 50 something or 60 something. Then it came all the way back down. Then it went over 100, and I didn't ride it the next time, but I noticed it went up to like 100 and something, and then it came back down. But yeah, unfortunately this morning it's the same. They're giving us these little runs up. Could drop it just a little bit lower while we've been watching this. We're almost to the point, though, if we fall any lower, the problem is I think we invalidated what was looking to be a V shape. I mean, we're about to take out the low now. Again. And if we break under 93K again and lose that 92.8, we're at least, I still think we got to come to that level. Now, are we going to see a 10 to 15% drop off across alt tokens? That's what I don't know. That's what makes me nervous because I could see all of a sudden we're looking at this and everything's up 1% or down 1%. Nothing major, right? I could see like something's up 2% like quant. Is there anything else that's up a few percent that I can notably know? 1.2% for Proton. I think H bar was up 1.5%. Yeah, there you go. So I could go from seeing stuff like this to all of a sudden seeing minus 10% on every single thing. You know, and that's where we're at right now. That's the truth. Because if Bitcoin free falls like $5,000 here to 88,000, that's not going to be good. Nobody says it is. I'm not saying it's going to fall down there, but I do think we have no choice but to come to 92.4, and I'm going to continue to harp on it. I know people are probably pissed off because I keep talking about it. Big Dog says 2 Fed chairs stated they will not vote yes for rate cuts in December. We'll see. Happy Rock Fox Rock says Bitcoin trashed all year, fakey baby all-time highs. Absolutely. You'll love this community because you're actually saying exactly what's happened the whole year instead of being illogical. That's why I said back, ironically, in January, my friend, Happy, why I sold 75% of my crypto and turned focus to gold and silver and mining stocks. There was a reason for that. Then I had to come back on a few days later, maybe a couple weeks later, because everybody was off their rocker. And that's when I said Bitcoin's targeting 75. It went down there, but now we end up targeting all these other areas. So it's like at some point I always say, you know, don't judge me based on what I'm saying when everybody else is saying it's going to go up or something. Judge me when I'm against, you know, a lot of the prerogative, or judge me when it's going in a certain direction. Then all of a sudden you can be like, uh-oh, wait a minute. This doesn't seem right. But still, these moments you got to take it with grace. So what I want to do real quick, I want to breathe with everybody. Ready? Take a breath. We'll repeat this twice to get our minds in the right state so we can see what's going to happen from here. I know it's an unsung thing, but breathing, keeping the anxiety down, not basing the decision on emotion, because emotion says right now, oh my God, there's a lot of red. Let it go, breathe. Sometimes we just have to breathe. Mr. Dula, I don't know. That's why I don't like to put timetables on things. I really don't know. It all depends how fast Bitcoin and these things finish off this rotational pull down. If it lets us drag out here for the next 6 months, well, it's going to take a while. But I would think that this is going to be done, this movement, before the end of November. I think it's doing exactly by mid-November. It's showing us direction. And I think the direction's being carved out for us. It's just, you've got to kind of understand that. And I know you do, James. So I'm trying to figure out how to word this for somebody else who hasn't been around as much as you have. The biggest move that I seen would have been Q1 or Q2 next year, and I've been very honest about that. But I still see the scenario that should play out here. If we can get this pull down, even if it goes to 88, I still see, even if that means Bitcoin goes from 88 all the way back up to 100, or maybe it goes from 92 to 100, I think that $8,000 move, if we can do this properly and clear this out, I think it makes more sense to clear down to 88. But I don't know. I'm not going to say that until we get rid of 92.4 and use that as resistance. But I can see that happening with what's set up for Bitcoin. Like, I don't pretend. Like, I don't come on here and say, hey, guys, we're going to 1 million. I'm going to come on here and say, hey, guys, I got to kick you in the nuts today. I'm sorry. And that's what I feel like I'm doing this whole live, and it sucks. I'm proud of you for having 149 people in here. But because I've had to talk the way I've talked for the last 9 months, the audience isn't really growing that. Well, I mean, that's not true. We're at over 47, but we've been stuck at 47,000. Well, now we're at 200 at least instead of 100. But people don't like to hear this part of my rants. And it's not even a rant. This is just the truth. I mean, I want to hear this because I want to know the truth. I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be deceived. I want to know what's going to happen. Seeing live. 88 is the bottom, but I don't care about hitting the bottom of the FVG. I want to make sure. I've talked about 88, coming to 88 a bunch of times, and it can even come lower, but I've talked about the 88K a bunch. That if it, even in this live, if it comes past 92.4, it goes to 88. That's the reason why. That is the bottom of the FVG. You're not lying. It goes 88 to 92.4, or 88 and some change. But that's why that's a big targeted area. When the hell is Black Friday? I like that though. Who said that? Oliver, thanks for being in town. There's 6+ months with the XP predictor. That's a Oliver, that's a great suggestion though, because I could draw that out. At least put a note in here so everybody can see. That's a great idea. Let me put a tag in here, to be honest with you. Let's see. I want to do a note. I think I want to do a price note. I like that, actually. Now, well, give me, can I write a note in here? No, I got to do the other one. That's okay. I'll just do the call out. Let's see. If only I could turn that sideways, but that's okay. Ooh. But it does. It extends down into that range. So I'll just do 88 to 92 points. But you're right about that. Yeah, I don't want to cloud the indicators on here because I only want to have certain ones. Like for me personally, I only like the volume. I like the EMA lines, and then I like the stochastic because it's very volatile indicator. But yeah, I'll represent it on here though without putting the indicator on. You probably used it on TradingView. I don't know exactly which one you use, but you're using one of the FVG indicators. There's a bunch of them that you can put on. It's just up to your liking. But yeah, I try to, but then again, I've been thinking about adding a new chart. Let me ask you, got 219? Weren't we at 222? Huh. Anyhow, what if I did a new chart and just hear me out for a sec? And this would be just for XRP. And this chart is for just the day of. So when we go on the chart, we draw just the day of. It ends up getting deleted, every day. And then we reset it up and we put the main points of interest and we do it together during the live. We set it up and then everybody can, everybody would have that set up for the day, and then the next day we redo it. We have the other charts that are there for the all times that we look at, that we get information off of, but we do it in real time. So everybody knows exactly what they're looking at each and every day. And then there's no, can't use this chart. That only goes to 18. But I think that might be the better way to do this. I'm sure Bybit's chart would be fine. Oh, no, it wouldn't because they weren't on Bybit because Bybit, yeah. BITUNIX. Yeah, BITUNIX. Hey, this is a chart that I haven't used in a long time. Look how that played out. I used to love that chart. This was the initial one. And then we had to redo it. Ah, we could use that one. Ha! I used to love that chart. That's when we were playing the micro within the macro. Look at that. Look at all that beautiful stuff in there. You can't really see it. I started deleting it, but it was in the... All right, yeah, we'll use this chart. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that so then we can draw on something in real time. Bitcoin is headed for the FVG now, is it? Ooh, down. Oh. It definitely is. Where's... Oh, yeah. This is what I was afraid of. Now everything's giving it back. Linear was up like 5-6% this morning, too. There was a few of them that got up there pretty good. They just gave it all back. This is what I was afraid of. I don't want to be the bearish guy, guys. People call me the bearish bullshitter and all this other stuff. It's not because I want to be. Sometimes I'm bullish. Trump said everything will be 2026 just like it was in 25. Remember? Yep. Guys, there's something big coming. I don't want to get into it. You guys just got to pay attention to world happenings. It's been set in stone for many eons. We're just, unfortunately or fortunately, you're living during the time of the great, let's just call it the time of the great deception. How about that? But anyhow, let's, where's this XRP chart? I'm very excited about this. So this will just be the bottom chart, and this will just be what we draw on. God, that played out. Oh, look at this. We haven't looked at this since before this breakout, but look how it played out just like it was supposed to. The most predictable chart on the planet. Everybody says XRP so hard to trade. What if I told you it's not? Hey, John Bugathorpe, thanks for being in Tom's Arm for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Says Tom, just keep telling the truth in the long run. Sunshine and rainbows don't create wealth, only the ability to strike when the time is right. I agree with that completely. And that's what we're trying to do in this moment. We're trying to be prepared with a lot of capital on the sideline so that this market can shake like it's supposed to. It's a shake and bake scenario. Now, if they shake it a little bit more, we're going to have a 10 to 15% market-wide drop. That's just the way it goes. Bitcoin right now is just being the ultimate deceiver, making people think this morning it was going up. I still don't understand what the guru's doing. The guru lost $12,500, sold Bitcoin at 94 or 95, 94 to open it back at 93. I don't understand. He sold it and then he opened it at the guy made so much money from spot trading when it went up from 18,000 or 20,000 all the way up, and he did a great job. And then he says he's protecting his capital. But he keeps opening these leverage trades where he's losing 12,000 on this trade and 8,000 on that. That's not protecting capital. That's actually the opposite. That's losing it like an idiot. No offense to the guru if you're watching, Mr. Guru. I actually like your show. That's James Crypto Guru. I actually think he's an asset because he shows you how to trade higher value money and he does it for free. He's got some stupid courses. But anyhow, besides that, they're like $300, which I'm insulted. I message them sometimes in the comments. I'm like, I'm insulted that you would do that. You are a bullish bear. Good morning, Tom. I am Marco Tremley. I agree. And thanks for being in Tom's Arm for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Love it. 2025 was alt bear season. It was. It was I told you guys, it's the deceiver. We're in the deception mode right now. That's why when 99% of people fail or 95% of crypto are peers, we've got to be wise enough to understand, like, you're not buying the dip until it's the real dip. You got to be in before the rallies. And when the government's telling you this is good, this is okay, we're doing regulations, it's quite the opposite. I hate to keep sounding like this, but it was so obvious that they're using us as ego liquidity during this entire movement this year. It's just the movement's predictable. It can't be that predictable. It just can't be. So I think what's going to happen tonight, if this finishes out, maybe that crypto fear and greed starts to push the other way because people are like, oh, wait a minute. Because it should not have gone from that. That shows me an extreme level of greed when it went from 10 to 14, when I wouldn't have touched this market yesterday if you gave me your money. So that's That's what I mean. And like I said yesterday, it could very well go up and I could be wrong, but let it prove it when it looks like this. Nothing about this looks good. And I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. Michael Saylor moving 43,000 Bitcoin. He's saying he didn't sell it, but he dispersed it into 100 different wallets. So what I think is going on, he's right. He's not selling it on the exchange, but I think he has side buyers that are buying this in these wallets without putting it on record. I think that's what's going on. An amazing amount of people are leaving during this conversation, but that's okay. 30 people left during this. Where I can't really do anything except tell you what's happening. I don't know what's been wrong in this live. We went from 95,000 plus to 93,226 while we're talking this. It's nice in real time sometimes when you can take a breath. You can take a breath. I'm not done with this live either. I know it's been an hour. I'm not ready to go. I might be here another half hour. I don't know. Sometime, like yesterday, I was on for an hour and a half plus. My son's in school. Like, I can't even eat till 12. So, because I do my 16 hours a day of intermittent fasting. And yesterday I couldn't do the live last night because my mom came over. And then I took Julie to a movie while my mom was here for a couple hours. And then when we came back, we dealt with tea. Wish Bitcoin would just hit that 92 mark. Well, 92 probably isn't the end of it, though. That's what people don't understand. With that movement it did this morning and last night, going back to 96 or whatever, that probably opened the door to the bottom end of that FVG. That's why I'm glad our friend said that. Who was it? AUG? Hold on. I'm going to probably sound like an idiot, but I know it's something like that. AUB. Oh, I should know this. You think XLM will... Oh, I'm glad I went back to look for his name. You think XLM will fill the wick on October 10th down to 15? Now, I don't know if we're going to fill these wicks out completely. That is something I'll be transparent with. I don't know if that's the name of the game. But for XLM, that 10-cent wick, that's a good question. Or not 10 cent, the 15 cents. Right now, what I'm targeting in the short term is that 23.5 cents. If that doesn't hold, well, yeah, then we got a problem. That could absolutely come back down into this area. Like, that's the problem for XLM. It's still within this very wide pattern. Technically, the floor, and I don't care what anybody says, is down at 9 point. Well, you got to do it for real in real time. But technically, the floor is around 10.4. If we want to fill this out, let's just say all of this. Let me get rid of some of this because this is a big fucking mess up here. And it makes sense. I mean, it needs to be here just in case. But that has to be there too because that was the rejection we got. That's what sucks about that rejection. It hurt. That's the one that hurt at 32, if you remember. But if that breaks down, I mean, we could in theory. So we have 25 cents, which we're breaking down right now. Oh, now I know why I did that. I had so many. And then if it breaks that down below, you've got about 23.2, we'll say. Yeah, we're in a shit storm right now. If anybody watched Trailer Park Boys, this is where Leahy would say, oh, the shit storm's starting. Not in my trailer park, but this is a shit storm brewing. Randy, we got a shit storm brewing. Rest in peace, Mr. Leahy. They did not. That was the .com bubble rug pull. Most people probably don't even know that happened. I am actually impressed that you know that happened, Mr. Dula. Big Dog says H-bar looks like shit. Well, I mean, that's because they put an ETF out. Remember what I said? The ETFs are the crypto. What gold and silver is the money, the currency. It's devil's advocate. It sucks. You don't. I'll continue to say I don't think we want ETFs. It takes money directly out of crypto and puts it in the stock. On what planet is that good? Hey guys, we're taking money out of the crypto exchanges so that we can put it in the stock market. Oh, sounds great. Our prices should go up on XRP. Do you guys know? XRP is technically in itself not ISO. And I tell people, take that with a grain of salt because there's a reason for that, because you can't just be ISO approved and be able to do that HTML coding. Think about this for all central governments, because some of the coding's different in some of these different countries. Ripple is ISO. The ledger is ISO. RippleNet is ISO. But there's a reason for XRP not being. There's a reason. Now, I would beg them to just finish this fucking drop. Excuse me. James Lewis says, last time I play an idiot in Telegram just to make people laugh, but I have a brain. Oh, I know you do. I know you do, James. I know you have brain. I know you have a brain. That's why I hold you to a higher standard than most, because I know. I feel like, I don't know, you're an asset. You're an asset to a community like this. But I'm glad that on Mondays, the brain cells are in order. Nick Morales says, yeah, I'm not so sure on XRP anymore after researching what you just said, Tom. I know, Nick. And I've talked about it a long time ago with XRP. It's different. It's different. That's why these ETFs make me nervous. Because now you've got all these different ways. Like, we technically, and it's a gift for us, if they go to biometrics, I technically can trade XRP without having to do it in the market anymore. And I'm not talking about the Canary Capital bullshit with their ETF. I'm talking about the XRPN, XRPNU, and XRPNW, because that's your little treasury. That's where you'll get paid a dividend down the road. This, to me, just reeks of rug pull coming up again. Like, although, again, we don't know the history here, so it ran all the way down. Maybe this is where it would run all the way back up now. We don't have enough history here to know exactly what this is trying to do. This is the one, though, we said last week that if there was one of them that's getting closer, it might be this one. But with the market movement, if we move down, this is just going to rug pull itself again, unfortunately. But it's created a dangerous game here. I think crypto's created a... Think about how our peers... Remember what crypto was supposed to be, Nick? And I know you understand this, and some do, but most don't realize this. Crypto was supposed to be here so government couldn't overreach, so that you didn't have the regulation of the government. For all sense of purposes, you weren't even supposed to pay taxes on it. It was supposed to be outside the realm of normal finance. Your own way of moving money. That's what it was supposed to be. I bought Tether. I put it into a token. I moved it somewhere else. It might have appreciated, blah, blah, blah. And now it's completely regulated. The average retail is begging the government for these safeguards. What if I told you guys the government is the ones who are forcing you to want these safeguards? They're the ones stealing from you. They're the ones who put the back end hooks and shit in the crypto wallets and the exchange. Come on. Seriously, it's... And now we're asking for them to be we're asking them to tie a noose around our neck and hang us. Like, I don't want to be hung. I'm sorry. While everybody else is hung, I'm going to be out there still succeeding. I'm not an idiot. I may be an idiot, but I am not an idiot. You know, it's like I might be dumb, but I am not ignorant. I may be stubborn, but I'm not brainwashed. I'm stubborn for a freaking reason. It's because of all this junk. It really is. I'm so stubborn because of all of this. It pisses me off. Because it's just like politics. The average person will never know what they're doing to us. Ever. It's like with how technically they say, oh, the government owns all this money. No, we own this money. We, the people. When we're $50 trillion in debt, they stole that from our future generations, not the other way. I don't know what Bitcoin is waiting for, besides the fact that it's the maximum pain threshold right now. They are trying to incite everybody they can to trap. That's what I believe this movement was overnight and this morning. See that weird candle right there? In the grand scheme, you don't really need that to happen, except if you were trying to trap everybody. I like that. That actually makes it a lot easier to understand. Because now if I just put the box around here, I think everybody can understand. Let's see. Where is my... I want... Oh, that's going to have to be much bigger. No, I need this moved. There we go. Is that a little bit easier for... Whoops. For everybody to understand? I think this comes down just a little bit farther, though. I think just having this... I could probably get rid of this. I think that's a little bit easier for everybody to just see. I don't know, maybe it's not, but I think that would, if I didn't know what was going on, that's what I want to see. Like, oh, this is the big FVG box. That's a little bit easier to see. Tom, do you hold in an LLC or trust? What do you mean? I'm concerned with the SEC is going to come out for taxes on cryptocurrency. I agree with that, Lonzo. I agree with that. I think what's going to end up happening in the USA, they're going to put a 50% universal tax on crypto by the end when regulations set in. And it's just going to be well, if you really want to trade this stuff, that's just what you're going to have to do. And some people will, some people, I'm not. Emergency Fed meeting today at 1 p.m. Is there really? Meaning your crypto holdings buying, selling with an LLC, i.e. time. No, I don't do that with crypto. Honestly. I predict capital gains on US-based crypto will only be 5 to 10%. It's about bailing out the banks. Is that what this is today? If that's the case, oh, Christ. Are they really going to... Oh, wait a minute. If they bail the banks out again, it's a bail-in this time. They can never bail out the banks again. The next time they do this, it's a bank bail-in. It was written into the law by Obama. If that's the case. That's a bank bail-in. That means we're going to be on the hook for it. I hope that's not the case. That would be devastating. I don't want to have to... Take care, Nick. Be safe on your way to work, my friend. And thank you for being a very trusted mod in hand in the Telegram and the technical advisor in there. Helps out so many people. Scotty Trade. So basically, I don't know if you remember 2008, the financial collapse and the crisis. They did a bailout. Well, the condition was that the people didn't know because they slid it in there and didn't tell us unless you read through it, which I have nothing better to do, so I read through the useless stuff. That's not useless, but to most people they think it is. But it said very clearly that the next time the government bailed out banks, it would be a bank bail-in. And that means that if you have money in there, if they decide that the banks are insolvent and they need 1% per depositor, 10% per, we don't know. So if you have $1 million in the bank, if you have $1,000, if you have $100 in the bank, 1% would be $1. If you have $100,000 in the bank, do the math. You got to pay $1,000. If you got $1 million, so just do the math. So that's what I fear. Tom, go to community hub. I posted it. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, James. And if you guys are part of Tom's Army, please join this community. It's unbelievable. Fed will host emergency meeting. Oh, maybe this is the dump right now then. This is what, that's what I keep saying. If this dump happens properly, this would be the dump to buy. What if this dumped down and filled that FVG right before that happened? Like, we are so close to filling this out. The 45's dumping hard. I mean, if we could finish this off with another candle or two, this could be a perfect setup for a mega bullish reversal. I don't disagree with that. I already told you, once Bitcoin hits that area. But yeah, before 1 o'clock, I'm hoping that this finishes this off right now, because this is setting up exactly like it should if this is gonna happen. I don't know if it would be an emergency rate cut. Right when Powell says good afternoon, the market dumps hard. Basically, they're making about bailing out banks. Yeah, see, if it's about bailing out banks, it doesn't do us any good in crypto. That makes it worse. Yeah, they're talking about, okay, so if it's bank liquidity, let's see.
I'm not finding information on an emergency FDA meeting specifically scheduled for today, Monday, November 17th, 20. I apologize for the misunderstanding.
Fucking AI so stupid. There is no regulatory scheduled FOMC meeting today. Blah, blah.
That is a very important distinction, as an unscheduled or emergency meeting of the Federal Reserve, specifically the Federal Open Market Committee, or FOMC, would signal a major financial shock or crisis.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The only problem remember what I said before, though? The one thing that could fuck us here is if they do something stupid to artificially move the price up instead of letting it play out. Remember yesterday I said just let it play out? Well, it sounds like the government's not just going to let it play out. Isn't it funny, James, that it actually it understood that part of it, but not the first part of it, which is always mind-boggling. That AI will tell you anything they program it to say. Yep. I think what they're doing with AI right now is it's allowing it to make mistakes so it can correct any and every mistake in real time without us realizing that it's actually auto-correcting itself for a future event. Oh, I hate these stupid things. Happy Fox says if Powell shuts up for 1 month, we will all get rich. I mean, he's definitely not helping. Man, we were so close, and it just won't finish this. Like, it just, for whatever reason. Maybe it does it now, but we've got legitimately an hour and a half that I would like to see this filled. Like, if this gets into here and it actually fills this out, we are massively oversold, as we know, and the weekly is really oversold. The daily's way oversold. It's like we're just trying to catch up in some of these higher time frames. The 4 hourly is a nice candle to push us farther down. And this candle still has 3 hours and 29 minutes. So this could be one of those candles where you get a, I just want them to play this out instead of tying the noose. They like to tie the noose. So what do you guys think about this? Oh, you're welcome, James. I'm glad it did. John Wiseman, welcome in, and he says that AI will tell you anything they program it to say, and I agree with that. It does too. You'll see it gives you some weird stuff. Then you got to keep correcting it to get what you want. And it's so surreal seeing Bitcoin just bouncing around, like the maximum opportunity to just liquidate long shorts. But knowing that there's going to be an emergency meeting, that could incite some people. That could incite some buying here. I really wish it would have just let it fall. But I don't know if it's going to fall all the way down if we get something weird today. I hope it does. I hope they just let this just finish this off right now. Just set us free. For less than $1,000 on Bitcoin to be set free from this freaking FVG that's been there the entire year. Just set us free, please. The lower the better. The lower to 88 it goes, the better. Do you plan to continue the copy trade with Linea, or are you open to use another token like that? I would like to do it with Linea, but you know, we'll see. There's a lot of things, and there's reasons why it's closed right now. It's not just market. There's 24 people that are signed up to do it, but only 11 actually hit the subscribe button. The other 15 hit the follow button. So they keep asking me questions why they're not in the trade. And I keep trying to explain you can't hit the follow button. You have to hit the subscribe button, but somehow we have a barrier there. So that's the main reason I did it. But we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get going though. I'm gonna get going. We'll see what happens. I'll study what's going on at possibly 1 o'clock. And we'll see what the market decides to do here. But as you can see, something happened, because even in the stock market, in the very short term, we had a little bit of a reversal here now. Stock market's taking forever to load. It's ridiculous. But we're oversold in a very big way. So at some point, we're going to have to reverse back up pretty hardcore. I was just hoping they would fill this out, but I don't know if they're going to fill this out now, because we know at 1 o'clock something's happening. We could start to just surge up now. That's why the market is very unpredictable, because now you have something that's come up that wasn't supposed to be. And unfortunately, Mr. Cooter, we already are doing that so quickly. Is there any confirmation on a Fed meeting? There's different posts with different times. Some even saying it's already happened. Let's see if anything will come up if we just by a general search. I want to see if anything will come up. The New York Fed held a secret emergency meeting, raising alarms across Wall Street. Banks borrowed a record $50.35 billion from the Feds. That was 2 days ago. The Federal Reserve held an emergency meeting on Wednesday of last week to discuss market liquidity pressures with Wall Street banks. Federal Reserve convenes emergency talks with Wall Street over liquidity facility usage concerns. New York Federal Reserve President John Williams convened an urgent meeting with major Wall Street banks this week to address growing concerns about the utilization and effectiveness of a critical short-term lending facility designed to provide emergency liquidity during periods of market stress. The high-level discussions, which brought together the central bank's primary trading counterparties, highlight mounting anxieties about potential vulnerabilities in the financial system's liquidity infrastructure and raise fundamental questions about whether existing monetary policy tools are functioning as intended during periods of market tension. You don't say. You don't say. So this is on the Federal Reserve's website. So right now it's showing, it's just showing the standard calendar. December 17th, 18th is the 2-day with the minutes. They have a press conference. That's apparently the next scheduled one here for their press conference. The meeting schedule, December 12th and 13th. Oh, that was in 23, never mind. We were already in 25. So, I don't see anything just popping up. So the 17th, speech by the vice chair, commercial paper at CP 1 p.m. So, Lord help us. We drowned down a sinkhole. Yep. Oh, they can't do that. There's no gold there. So they can't go into Fort Knox. This is the craziest one. Most people, most U.S. citizens don't even know this exists. But it doesn't want to load today. Sometimes it won't load. This isn't the first time this has happened. So right now, each citizen would have to pay $111,111 if there was a sovereign debt crisis. So if they ever said that, that per taxpayer, $328,220 is what we'd have to pay per taxpayer. That's pretty insane if you think about it. And they make $15,414 per citizen, which does not even come close to covering the debt. State debt per citizen for the state. Just a lot of stuff here, guys. We have it talks about the trade by foreign countries. We're in deficit everywhere, as you can see. Money creation. I mean, we create so much freaking money. But this is something you should all go down the rabbit hole a little bit of what's actually going on in front of us that they don't teach us. Notice they don't teach you that in school. Oh, I'm going to be so interested just to see how this market finishes. I mean, it didn't come all the way down. That's the bottom line. It decided to stop again right before it got down there. So we'll see if it finishes it off. But that could have been a nice, easy transition. But I'm going to go check on Julie. I'm going to make sure I get everything done that I'm supposed to in the house. We'll be back later. And H-bar is an odd one. The tech is shady and white paper is I always think whenever like bigger people talk about certain blockchains that I don't know why, but it always struck me as odd that Mike Maloney is he's so willing to talk about it. He doesn't really talk about crypto at all. Just look at what they've gone and done. Oh, I know, Happy. But that's about it today. I'm gonna go watch to see how the market plays out. We'll see if it comes into the gap area. If you want, take a screenshot so you can at least see the range here for Bitcoin. You know, up at the top. I can put another one of these down at the bottom so you can see like how it's at 92.4 at the top. What the hell is it? 92.4. Somewhere down near 88 at the bottom. So just pay attention to that box. Like we're outside of it right now and it sucks. It really does suck. Like I want to get down there. Really want to get down there. But we'll reconvene. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day.